Let's start the chapter 5th of geography, which is industries. Let's start. Industry is the production of a good or service within an economy. Industries can be classified in a variety of ways. At the top level, industry is often classified into sectors: primary or extractive, secondary or manufacturing, and tertiary or services. Some authors add quaternary, knowledge, or even quinary, culture and research sectors. Over time, the fraction of a society's industry within each sector changes on the basis of ownership. With the start of the planned development of the Indian economy in 1951, industries have been divided in the following. Let's start with the first one. Primary sector definition. This involves the extraction of resources from the earth. This includes farming, mining, and logging. They do not process the products at all. They send it off to factories to make profit. Secondary. This group is involved in the processing products from primary industries. This includes all factories, those that refine metals, produce furniture, or pack farm products such as meat. Tertiary. This group involved in provisions of services. They include teachers, managers, and other service providers. Quaternary. This group is involved in the research of science and technology and other high-level tasks. They include scientists, doctors, and lawyers. Quinary sector. Some consider there to be a branch of quaternary sector called the quinary sector, which includes the highest levels of decision making in a society or economy. This sector would include the top executives or officials in such fields as government, science, universities, non-profit, healthcare, culture, and the media. Private sector industries. Industries owned by individuals or firms such as Bajaj Auto or Tisco Jamshedpur are called private sector industries. Second, public sector industries. Industries owned by the state and its agencies like Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited or Bhilai Steel Plant or Durgapur Steel Plant are public sector industries. Number third, joint sector industries. Industries owned jointly by private firms and the state or its agencies such as Gujarat Alkalis Limited or Oil India Limited fall in the category of joint sector industries. Fourth, cooperative sector industries. Industries owned and run by cooperative by a group of people who are generally producers of raw materials of the given industry, such as a sugar mill owned and run by farmers are called cooperative sector. Again, on the basis of source of raw material. On the basis of source of raw material, industries are classified as under. First, agro-based industries. Agro-based industries are those industries which draw raw material from agriculture. Cotton textile, jute textile, and sugar are examples of such agro-based industries. Second, mineral-based industries. These industries are those which get raw materials from minerals like iron and steels, and cement industries. Third, pastoral-based industries. These industries depend upon animals for their raw materials. Hides, skins, shoes, dairy, etc. are some of the pastoral-based industries. Forest-based industries. These industries are dependent on forest for their raw material. Paper, plywood, lac, rayon, resin, furniture, sports are forest-based. The basis of the size, industries can be classified into the following types. First, small-scale industries. It uses lesser amount of capital and technology. Cottage or household industries are type of small-scale industries where the products are manufactured by hand by the artisans. Example, basket weaving and pottery. Second, large-scale industries. It uses more amount of capital and technology. It produces large volumes of products. Example, production of automobiles and heavy machinery are large-scale industries. Industrial system. It consists of input, processing, and output. Input, it includes raw material, labor, machinery, infrastructure, etc. Processing, a series of activities that transform raw material into desired products. Output, it is the service or finished product that will trade in the market. Factors affecting the location of industries. Generally, location of industries is influenced by economic considerations. Through certain non-economic considerations also might influence the location of some industries. Maximization of profit, which also implies cost minimization, is the most important goal in their choice of particular places for the location of industries. There are several factors which pull the industry to a particular place. Some of the major factors influencing location are discussed below. First, availability of raw materials. In determining the location of an industry, nearness to source of raw material is of vital importance. Nearness to the source of raw materials would reduce the cost of production of the industry. For most of the major industries, the cost of raw material from the bulk of the total cost. Therefore, most of the agro-based and forest-based industries are located in the vicinity of the sources of raw material supply. Second, availability of labor. Adequate supply of cheap and skilled labor is necessary for an industry. The attraction of an industry towards labor centers depends on the ratio of labor cost to the total cost of production, which Weber calls labor cost of index. The availability of skilled workers in the parts of Bombay region was one of the factors responsible for the initial concentration of cotton textile industry in the region. Proximity to markets. Access to markets is an important factor which the entrepreneur must take into consideration. Industries producing perishable or bulky commodities which cannot be transported over long distances are generally located in close proximity to markets. Industries located near the markets could be able to reduce the cost of transport in distributing the finished product, as in case of bread and bakery, ice, tins, cans, manufacturing, etc. It is more important in the case of industries manufacturing consumer goods rather than producer goods. 4. Transport facilities. Transport facilities generally influence the location of industry. The transportation with its three modes, that is water, road and rail, collectively plays an important role. So the junction points of waterways, roadways and railways become humming centers of industrial activity. Further, the modes of rates of transport and transport policy of government considerably affect the location of industrial units. The heavy concentration of cotton textile industry in Bombay has been due to the cheap and excellent transportation network both in regard to raw materials and markets. Here in this chart you can see how these are all the factors important for the establishment of industries such as raw materials, power, labor, capital, market, water, transport, communications. Another factor influencing the location of an industry is the availability of cheap power. Water, wind, coal, gas, oil and electricity are the chief sources of power. Both water and wind power were widely sought as sources of power supply before the invention of steam engine. During the 19th century, nearness to coal fields became the principal locating influence on the setting up of new industries, particularly for heavy industries. With the introduction of other sources of power like electricity, gas, oil, etc., the power factor became more flexible, leading to dispersal and decentralization of industries. Industrial regions. Major industrial regions of the world are Eastern North America, Western and Central Europe, Eastern Europe, and Eastern Asia. Major industrial regions are usually located in the temperate areas, near seaports, and especially near coal fields. Important industrial regions of India are as follows: Mumbai-Pune cluster, Hooghly region, Chota Nagpur industrial belt, Gurgaon Delhi Meerut region, Bangalore Tamil Nadu region, Ahmedabad Baroda region, Visakhapatnam Guntur belt, Kolham Tiruvananthapuram industry. Distribution of major industries. Iron and steel industry. Industrial growth is almost impossible without iron. Iron is the base of industries. Iron and steel industry require raw materials in the form of iron ore, power supply and water. So the location is selected as per requirement. Tata Iron and Steel Company, Tisco. The plant is located in Jamshedpur at the confluence of Subarnarekha and Kharkai River, about 240 km northwest of Kolkata, along the Kolkata-Nagpur rail line in Singhbhum district of Jharkhand. It is the second largest and the only private sector steel plant in the country. The plant was built up by the famous industrialist J.N. Tata in 1907, where the production of pig iron was started in 1908 and of steel in 1911. Locational advantages. Jamshedpur is most ideally located in respect of iron ore, fuel and flux supplies. It obtains the supply of iron ore from the captive mines at Guru Mahisani, Badam Pahad, Mayurbhanj district and Noamundi, Singhbhum district. Mines at a distance of 72.5 km to 96.6 km. Coking coal from Jharia, Sijia, Jamdoba and West Bokaro coal fields at a distance of about 177 km. Limestone from Birmitrpur, Hathibari and Barodwar. Manganese from the captive mines of Jodha, Keonjhar district and Madhya Pradesh. Dolomite from Rangpur, fire clay from Belapahad, Sundargarh district. Fresh water from the Subarnarekha and Kharkhai rivers, port facilities from Kolkata port, and cheap labor from the densely populated areas of the Ganga Valley, mostly from Bihar and Pittsburgh. The Pittsburgh district of USA is known as the capital of the world of iron and steel. Locational advantages. Located close to the coal mines, water is available from the famous Great Lake waterway. Iron ore is about 1500 km away, but transportation is cheap. Rivers such as Ohio, Monongahela and Allegheny are close by. Cotton textile industry. The textile industry or apparel industry is primarily concerned with the production of yarn and cloth and the subsequent design or manufacture of clothing and their distribution. The raw material may be natural or synthetic using products of the chemical industry. Cotton is the world's most important natural fiber. In the year 2007, the global yield was about 25 million tons from 35 million hectares cultivated in more than 50 countries. The textile industry in India, traditionally after agriculture, is the only industry that has generated huge employment for both skilled and unskilled labor in textiles. The textile industry continues to be the second largest employment generating sector in India. It offers direct employment to over 35 million in the country. India is the second largest producer of fiber in the world, and the major fiber produced is muslin of Dhaka, chins of Masulipatam, cotton of India, and calicos of Calicut are world famous. The industry saw its first establishment in Mumbai, India in the year 1854 by a Parsi cotton merchant. Later on, it spread it toward the Gujarat and Maharashtra. Humid climate of these states favored the processing of cotton. Manchester of India. The first cotton textile mill in Ahmedabad was set up in 1859. Ahmedabad quickly became the second largest textile city in India after Mumbai. Hence, Ahmedabad is also known as the Manchester of India. Locational advantages. It has humid climate that favors spinning of cotton thread, dense population which provides labor, proximity to Mumbai and Kandla port, land and power availability, well-developed road and rail network. But with the development of this particular industry in other parts of the country with upgraded machines and technology, there was a tough competition for Ahmedabad. Osaka, Manchester of Japan. Osaka is an industrial town in Japan. Locational advantages, it is near to river Yodo which provides water. Good humid conditions for spinning, skilled labor at cheap rates, proximity to ports ensure import of raw cotton and export of finished textiles. In modern times, the cotton textile industry in Osaka have been replaced by other industries. Information technology IT. Storage, processing and distribution of information are the main task of information technology industry. A series of technological, political and socio-economic factors, it has become a global industry. Silicon Valley in California, USA and Bangalore in India are the major hubs of IT industry. Locational advantages of IT hubs. High education facilities in nearby regions ensure better human resource, comfortable weather for long working hours, develop infrastructure. Do you know the world economy has been developing with oil as its lifeblood for over 100 years? Oil is directly responsible for about 2.5% of world GDP. Thank you class. Let's meet again next time in the next chapter.